Hey, Shannon here. Thanks for tuning in. It was a pretty short trip to Washington State, but I did get to see some family. Thanks to the Carney Moore family for having me over for dinner. Enjoyed seeing you. Love you all. Mainly pulled into the Seattle area, across the Columbia River there, which was great. Then up and over the Cascades, and the focus of the next couple of days were really just finding a truck to be able to continue on. So we had some trouble with the Dodge. The first gear started slipping on the transmission, and we knew we were in trouble. So we spent a couple of days looking for and purchasing a new truck. So also a must, I was told when I'm there, is Dick's Drive-In. So of course I stopped at Dick's Drive-In for a cheeseburger, fries, and a chocolate shake, and it was delicious. Didn't disappoint at all. So thanks for tuning in, and a little bit about the new truck. Hey, good morning. Thanks for tuning in. This is Shannon. I'm probably about 30 miles south of Tacoma, Washington, headed towards Warrenton, Oregon, which is on the coast of Oregon. I think I'm going to follow the coast down the 101 down through Oregon and into Northern California, and hopefully pick up the PCH and enjoy the ride down. Visit with some friends, possibly, and working my way towards San Diego this week. So, anyway, a little bit of news that some of you may have seen my last post with the new truck. So the Dodge finally started slipping first gear, and was having a lot of trouble on the hillsides. The transmission was heating up over a long drive. I did make it over the Cascade Range and ran, fairly well. I could tell at the end of the day, especially when I got off on the exits and put it in low gear to get going again. I could definitely see the transmission was struggling and slipping gears. So it was time to make a change. I had contemplated it before I had left Ventura. Being the cheap guy that I am, I had a hard time parting with the money, and I knew I was going to have to pay cash for it. But I, in hindsight, wish I had made the decision back in Ventura. Instead, I put a couple $1,000s into the truck and preparing it for the road, and I got far less on a trade-in in Washington because it was a two-wheel drive half-ton truck than I would have gotten if I had sold it in Southern California, where two-wheel drives are a little bit, a lot more prevalent. You don't see any two-wheel trucks when you get up into Arizona, Utah, Idaho, Washington, Montana, Nevada. You just don't see them. They're not on the lots. So the half-ton trucks you do, but two-wheel drive you don't. So that was the other struggle that I had in Ventura, is that with the pandemic, parts and availability in the dealerships were just slim. So there's not a lot of inventory of used trucks, pre-owned, and I don't know where, or at no time was I contemplating buying a new truck in the $60,000 range. So just wasn't going to happen. So, but pre-owned trucks still, around $30,000 for the diesel on a pre-owned truck, which I ended up with. So, but I'm really happy with the truck. Some of the major differences, and I've only been pulling the trailer now for about 30-40 minutes, but right off the bat, what I can say is you really don't know that the trailer is back there. There's no sagging on the rear end, and I had installed $1,500 worth of remote airbags on the rear suspension of the Dodge, which did help to lift the back end. But still, that was a lot of weight for the leaf spring suspension on that Dodge, and it did sag a little bit, even with the weight distribution hitch and so anyway, so less sag. Also on the freeway and going over the hills and stuff, and across the bridges, I noticed no bounce in this truck either. So the Dodge would tend to, any little bump, and it would bounce with the trailer on it, and so this is so much of a smoother ride, and the towing power of the Chevy that I ended up with, the up buying a 2012 Chevy Silverado HD with a Duramax 6.6 liter LML diesel engine. So it's a really strong truck for pulling. Like I said, I don't really notice that the trailer's even back there. It pulls with ease. I'm able to accelerate uphill, whereas in the Dodge, a lot of these hills, anything over a 6% grade, and I'm doing 35 miles an hour up the hill, and watching the diesels go past me, the semi-trucks go past me. So I'm able to, take hills at 60 miles an hour and accelerate if I wanted to, not really feeling any lag at all on the hills, pulling the trailer. And like I said, no bouncing, no sagging, really able to accelerate. Another really important factor though is the stopping power on this truck. Seems like the brakes are definitely a lot heavier, and the stopping power seems to be pretty significant. And the diesel engine helps too. Once you take your foot off of the throttle, it slows down quickly. This truck has the built-in exhaust brakes. It has a 6-speed transmission instead of the, I believe, 5-speed, which was on the Dodge Ram, 4 or 5-speed transmission. So the Dodge had the tow package built in, which is transmission cooler basically. So the Chevy has it as well. Which is pretty much standard, I think, on the heavy-duty truck, and also on the diesels. Any of the 2500, 3500 series trucks will have that. Only thing I was disappointed in is that the 2012 Chevy Silverado didn't have the built-in brake controller on the dash, which I've seen pretty much standard on a lot of the newer trucks. The Dodge didn't have it either. I had an aftermarket brake controller by Prodigy that basically mounted under the dash. And for those of you that don't know what a brake controller is, it's an electronic brake that sends a signal to the trailer and tells the trailer to engage the brakes. So if you want to, you can manually operate the brake controller, so you can just operate the trailer brake without operating the brakes on the truck. So you can have the trailer slow you down on a downhill grade instead of using the brakes on the truck. Or you can, when you deploy your brake pedal, it employs the brakes automatically on the trailer as well. So it gives you more stopping power, keeps the trailer from jackknifing. So overall, I'm super happy. In the Silverado, you sit up higher than you did in the Dodge. But the nice thing is it seems to have a lower height for climbing in. So it's not as hard to get in and out of the truck. And it could be because it had the chrome side steps installed on it as well. So that does make it easier. But I noticed Grace doesn't struggle as much climbing in and out of the truck. I can't tell yet how happy she is with it. The back seat's definitely bigger, so she's got a lot more room back there. But the other thing is the Dodge, when you flip the back seat up, and a metal platform folded down to make the rear seat completely flush and flat across. There was storage under the back seat, which raised it up probably 6 inches. So that platform added about 6 or 8 inches of height, I think, from the door threshold for Grace to have to jump in. This one's really easy for her to jump in. She doesn't seem to struggle at all. The only other thing though is that when she's standing on the floor of the back seat, her face just comes up basically nose level to the window. So I'm thinking she's not super happy about that. She can't, get her whole head out there without, sitting up and putting her feet on the door or something. So I'm not sure how happy she is about that. So the truck's in really good shape, super clean on the inside. It's not their, I don't even remember what it's called. I think the LTS edition, I think, is what they call it. But it doesn't have the leather package. It doesn't have the upgrade dash in the interior. But, the cloth seats were in super good shape. The carpets are covered with WeatherMax rubber mats, which are spill proof, so if you spill, it contains a spill inside the mat. So that's super nice, especially this time of year, and especially the places. I wish I had them in the Dodge, all the places I've been, because the Dodge was covered in gravel and red dirt from Nevada to Montana. So I had cleaned it up really good. It took me about $20 to vacuum it out at one of the self washes, get it cleaned up, and take it in for a trade-in. I thought they were super low. They tried to give me $3,000 for the Dodge. Finally ended up getting them up to $4,000. Still not super happy. I think low blue book on the truck was $6,000, and the high blue book on it was like $8,500. So my truck was super clean. Obviously, it was going to need some work on the transmission, but it was the leather. It was the upgraded package on the Ram quad cab, and the interior and exterior were pretty clean. And like I said, I had installed the airbags on it just 4 weeks ago. Also had done all the fluid changes, coolant, transmission, fluid and filters, oil, fluid and filters, coolant flush, spark plugs, new brakes and rotors. So all that was done before I left. And then on the road, of course, we had the other issues. We seared the hitch off, had to put a brand new hitch on it, and then the water pump failed, and we had to put a new water pump, thermostat, and upper radiator hose. So that was all on the road. So I was in it a couple of $1,000s from that work, and hoping that we could just make it last a little bit longer. But it wasn't meant to be. So I'm super happy with this truck. I don't have any concerns about pulling the trailer, or I don't have any challenges with the routes that I take. I can pretty much go anywhere. This truck's also 4-wheel drive, so it's a 3/4 ton 4-wheel drive diesel engine, one of the strongest towing trucks on the road. So for a 3/4 ton, Duramax has got a great reputation. So super happy. Thanks for watching.